are listening to the Krooked Hearts Podcast. What up? Hey, all my Krooked Hearts peeps out there. Appreciate y'all tuning in here. This is episode number 8 of the Krooked Hearts Podcast. I'm Andy the Pie Deal. I'm so stoked you guys are checking this episode out. We have Mr. James Grover in this episode. A really great conversation sitting down talking to him. But before we dive into some of that info, we're going to start a little different segment here, getting into little comedy hour, maybe a couple laughs for people out there. Someone had floated me by some of these jokes, and I thought maybe I might share them. Maybe have a laugh. What do you guys think? So here we go. What's the difference between a lead guitarist and a terrorist? You can negotiate with a terrorist. What do you call a guitarist who breaks up with his girlfriend? Homeless. What's the difference between a lawnmower and electric guitar? You can tune a lawnmower. Let's see. How do you figure out who the guitar player is at a party? Don't worry, he'll tell you. 2 guys were walking down the street. One was destitute. The other was a guitar player, too. Oh, let's see here. What do we got? A man asked the devil, how much does it cost to be the greatest guitar player in the world? The devil says, give me your soul. The man asks, what can I get for $1? And the devil says, the greatest bass player in the world. So anyway, I just thought it'd be a little fun to have some fun. Hey, shh. Anyway, really excited to get this interview going here. We're not going to bore you with any other lame jokes other than the ones that weren't lame that made you guys all laugh. It's a good time having this podcast, and I want to thank all of our listeners, all of the support out there. Mr. Brian from the shop, the rehearsal/recording studio down here in Temecula. Andy the Wizard putting down his editing skills. As I said, teamwork, can't beat it. Having people support you never gets old. It's just always a good pleasure to have other people to bounce ideas off and have that local support here in town to have a place to go to. So very, very appreciative, very grateful for that. And we're going to jump right into the episode here. I hope you guys all enjoy. And thank you so much. So this is the Krooked Hearts Podcast, and we are here in the studio here with Mr. James Grover. This is the shop rehearsal. We're here doing our recording today. So tell me, my man, introduce yourself and let me know about kind of what you're all about.
All right, Andy, thanks for having me. You said my name, James Grover, and I've been a musician for, 30 years professionally. I've been playing since age 7, so I've been playing for 41 years, guitar. I started my career in 1990. I started in television with Miller Boyette and Jeff Franklin Productions. I did Full House, Fame Matters, Going Places, Step by Step. And from there, I just took off and started working in both music and television. And in 2003, I teamed up with my old friend, Jack Black, and we did School of Rock. We did the music for that. Because back then, copyright laws were really strict. We couldn't use many songs that we could just take and destroy and perform. That's what Jack wanted to do. He wanted to destroy the songs. That's how he is. So anyways, what I did is I did the music for him, and I rearranged it for him so he can perform it, which we dropped the keys around and messed around with that, and it came out pretty good. Where it was decent.
Decent? No, it was good. It was great.
It was awesome.
Come on, bro.
Yeah, it was awesome.
Don't be humble.
Yeah.
That shit will rock, dude. Come on now.
Yeah, so I did that, and then I went in and did, in 2005, I did a movie Click with Adam Sandler.
Okay.
Yeah, and then I did some more productions after that, and right now I'm just doing more coming up with more creativities to do more TV, film, and commercials, and probably produce a horror movie in the near future.
That would be cool.
Yeah, and stuff like that, and which I would write the music to it as well and compose it, know. So there's a lot I've done in my career as a musician, and going out and playing music. I currently work with a great handful of great musicians right now. I'm working with Robert Sarzo. You know, Robert Sarzo was in Hurricane and in Queensryche.
Yeah.
And then I'm working with Cliff Rierig, who is actually a bass player. He actually was the bass player for Air Supply. And I'm also working with Keith Lynch. He was the MD for Bill Ward of Black Sabbath.
Okay.
So I'm working with him, and I'm also working with Diane Adams, who was a backup singer for a lot of notable bands and artists.
Yeah.
And then I'm also working with Ronnie Siago, and Ronnie Siago, his list goes on. If any musician I know, his roster and credits is really, really long. He's worked for Jaco Pastorius. He's worked for Ricky Lee Jones, just to name a few.
Okay.
You know, he's a
Long
really
list, yeah.
all great musicianship there, and we're doing a show. The band that I'm working with is called Diane and the Deductibles, which I am part of the stage crew. You know, so we handle I handle all the technicalities that go wrong when you have a band, you know.
Right.
So I'm there, you know. So I set up the band and help everybody out with what they need, because it's a 5-piece band, and we're doing a show on October 4th with the Guess Who with Rudy Sarzo. Is in the band, new record released.
Okay.
And then also on the 14th we're doing a show with Algerina of the Beach Boys at the Canyon Club. These both shows are at the Canyon Club in Santa Clarita.
Okay.
Yeah, so tickets are available.
That's a small venue there, or what?
It's part of the Canyon Club. You know, like the Canyon Club over in Agora Hills.
Okay.
Or
it just sounds intimate. I don't know why. It sounds cool.
It's
like
cool
this is where we can really get in. And
it is an intimate venue.
Yeah.
Even though it's a big room.
Yeah,
and it
right.
has it's like a dinner restaurant kind of deal.
Okay. Yeah.
So it does have its perks. You know. I'm sorry about that.
Sorry.
It does have its perks where you can go ahead and order food, sit down, and be very intimate, because the tables are right in front of the stage. So you can actually get your hand out and say, hey, I know, and shake hands and stuff. So it's really intimate. And there is meet and greet. So I also work with missing persons.
Oh, okay, great.
Yeah, we've done a couple shows there with missing persons and stuff with me and my good friend Prescott Niles of the Knack.
Okay.
We've done a couple shows there. And the other thing that we're doing is we're also recording a new album for Diane and the Deductibles.
Okay.
So if you guys want tickets, the website is www.dianeandthedeductibles.com.
Okay.
And you can go ahead and get the tickets online and stuff.
Awesome.
Yeah, so that's pretty much what I'm doing these days.
Well, take me back to the beginning, my friend. I want to go back to where this all started on your musical path.
On my musical path, it all started back in 1990. I started playing guitar at the age of 7.
Okay.
It was an exit, because I had a tragedy in my family when my dad died. And I picked up the guitar. He had left the guitar underneath the couch, and I just pulled it out and started playing it. And it was my therapy, you know. Back then, in 1977.
Would you say 7th grade?
No, it's 7 years old.
7 years old. Okay,
I was
sorry.
7 years old, you know. So I pulled the guitar out at age 7. I started playing guitar, and I just started strumming it, you know. But actually, I take it way back. My aunt played guitar. I was 3 years old, and I used to get in trouble for pulling a guitar out of the closet and put it across my lap and strumming it, you know?
Yeah.
So they always took it away from me. So my dad had an electric guitar. He kept it underneath the sofa in the living room. So I pulled it out one day, and I just started strumming on it. And my oldest sister, had started taking guitar lessons. I said, hey, what'd you learn in school today? She goes, I learned this chord. Teach me that chord.
Yeah.
You know, so I started learning the chords, and then my sister had a soundtrack from Happy Days.
Yeah, okay.
The Happy Days soundtrack. So they had all these cool songs.
50s doo-wop and all that cool stuff. All that cool stuff, dude.
They had all these great songs on there.
Cool, yeah.
And then you would just listen to guitar work. You know, I was really a guitar guy. You know,
right.
I liked that guitar crunch.
You gravitated towards that at a young age.
Yeah,
You're like,
since I was like a young kid, I always liked that crunch on guitar. And the cool sounds you can get out of it. So I was like, and then you had a JCPenney catalog or the Sears catalog, and you had the guitars like the Harmony,
Montgomery Ward, all those.
So you know, look, you flip into catalog. Go,
Yeah.
man, can I get the guitar? And every time you ask for a guitar, your parents go, no.
Those are collector items.
I know.
It's those are worth money now.
They are worth
for
money.
sure.
Yeah. So I started out with a Silvertone acoustic.
Yeah.
In my teens.
Yeah.
I broke that guitar just playing it, man.
Yeah, right.
I thrashed it. I just
Yeah.
like totally played it till it broke. So it was a cool guitar. It held up for a good 10 years.
For sure.
Yeah, and then I after
Don't
that
make them like they used to.
yeah, and then I played that my dad's electric guitar. I played it till about I was 16.
Yeah.
And then I bought a Carbon V220.
Okay.
Custom made from Carbon.
So we're getting more serious as we go.
Yeah.
We're up the
I got
ante
the
a
Carbon
little bit.
V220, which I still own today.
Okay.
It's a really cool guitar. You know,
Yeah.
it's something that I still cherish.
Yeah,
and
you've hung
I-
on to it.
Yeah, I don't play it live. I don't take it,
Yeah.
I don't destroy it.
I
know.
hear you.
It stays there, so it's just like a sentimental piece.
Yeah.
To me, so it's kind of cool. And then after that, I started playing for the LMU choir at Loyola Marymount University.
Okay.
So I played for the LMU choir for a good, I always say, good 6 years.
So I gave you some musical background right there.
Yeah,
That's like the
playing
the
for
essentials,
a choir,
you know?
Playing for a choir really opens up the
musicality.
It does because I played with everybody. I played with a timpani player.
Yeah.
I played all orchestra guys. You know, I
it
played
makes
with,
you well-rounded.
Yes.
Yeah.
I know the saxophone player that I played with was a professional saxophone player, and he played really cool. So we would share guitar leads with saxophone, which was really awesome.
Yeah.
You know, and then I had a great piano, keyboardists, drummers, you name it, any instrument that you can think of, from violin to tuba to flute.
Yeah, I like to showcase everything.
I played with them, and it gave me a variety of instrumental values.
Yeah, sounds that are really like the mix of everything, not just like rock band thing or whatever. The value of everything. Yeah, like everybody has its place.
It gave me some feel, and then I took at Santa Monica College. I took a class with Arnold Lessing on classical flamenco guitar.
Oh wow! Okay.
So with classical flamenco guitar, it opened up a new chapter in my guitar playing.
Okay.
Which I adapt to my playing to this day.
Yeah.
Where I don't play with a pick. I play all finger.
Okay.
You know.
Yeah.
All my fingers are active on the guitar. You know. My rhythm hand is all fingers. My voicing hands is all fingers.
Right.
So we know I just kind of make it glow. You know.
Yeah.
I have a couple friends that go, "Hey James, how can you play the guitar? It makes it sound like two people are playing at one time." I say, "Hey, it's just the way I practice and the way I got to be this way as a guitar player."
To interrupt you really quick, you're only kind of reminding me right now of an interview I saw of Josh Homme, who was saying that he learned polka.
Oh, really?
When he first started. And it was like this thing where he was like, it's just this thing that I have that like no one else does. And it's got like kind of different elements of things that people don't associate with rock music. And I know you're kind of a rock dude or whatever. You know?
Yeah.
You like to introduce your background history into it.
Yeah,
and that reminds me of that.
I'm very versatile because I just don't play guitar.
Yeah.
I play mandolin. I play bass. I play a little bit of drums.
But you bring all that to the forefront with different influences and all these different things. And it may come from this thing, flamenco, where like, who would know that unless, someone's a diehard or whatever, but like there's those influence that seep their way into the thing that you do, no matter what project it is, whether it's subconsciously or consciously, but that's cool. That's like where you're starting and your beginnings kind of stray from that, and then you go into other realms, I'm sure, as everyone does, but there's always that thing, that beginning starting point where those things seep their way slowly into whatever you do, and it's really awesome.
Yeah, and music to me I'm very versatile. I like all types of music.
For sure.
No
one likes to be pigeonholed into one thing.
Yeah, if it's melodic, I'm there.
Yeah.
If it
good
has
music
a melody.
is good music.
Yeah. So, I'm also a guitar instructor. I teach guitar, I teach mandolin, I teach ukulele, I teach bass, I teach the fundamentals of music.
Awesome.
So my students always come up to me and they say, "Hey, Mr. Grover, how can I improve my studies in music?" Well, what do you want to do with your music?
Right.
Do you want to go ahead and open a a band, you want to
Yeah.
open up a band and say,
Right.
hey, man, let's start a band and work. So I always say, it no matter what you do, just learn your music, learn your circle of fifths,
Yeah.
and keep practicing because you're never going to get better. You're never going to get perfect. Are you going to
No,
get better?
you're never going to master it.
You're never going to master it. You're just
Yeah,
gonna keep
there's always
learning.
something to learn.
You're gonna get better, but you're gonna learn and learn
Yeah,
and learn.
for
But I mean,
sure.
you're not get perfect.
Yeah,
because
no.
you can't
Yeah.
master. Yeah,
Yeah.
so that's what I'm trying to say here.
There's always more to learn, no matter what level you get to.
Yeah.
It's never ending.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I'm also a luthier. I build guitars. I brought a guitar here today.
Right.
That you
Yeah.
can check out and stuff. So I don't know if you put it on your website or not. So
We
people
will
can
put
check
some
it out.
photos. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and so that's kind of cool. And then I also work with Kevin Eubanks from the Tonight Show with Jay Leno.
Awesome.
So Kevin and I have been working probably for about 10 years together.
Okay.
I've teched on four of his albums,
Okay.
if I'm correct. If I have 3 to 4 albums I worked on him, and I actually work as his guitar tech.
Great.
So
What a gig, dude.
Yeah. So
How awesome is that?
Yeah, and I'm also his artist relations specialist.
So how does something like that spawn for you?
It's the way I met Kevin Eubanks. I was working at the Motion Picture Television Fund out in Woodland Hills, and Kevin lives in the area out there. And he dropped in my office one day, and he goes, "Hey, I need this. I need some help with this." So I helped him with what he needed help with.
Yeah.
Then we started talking about guitars, and he just said one day he just came up and he goes, "Hey, James, why don't you come over to my house and
You
jam
guys
with
hit
me,
it
man?"
off.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we hit it off really well. And he goes, "Just come on over, man. Let's have a good time jamming." And
Yeah.
So I went over there, hung out with Kevin. He was down to earth, really cool.
He seems cool. Yeah.
Oh yeah, one of the coolest guys ever. And he's now he's like a brother to me.
Sure.
He's like the old brother I never had.
That's great.
So Kevin and I are pretty tight.
Yeah,
He's
yeah.
a great guy. We work
For
with,
those of you who don't know, he's like the band leader for like Jay Leno and all kinds of stuff. I mean, not
Yeah.
just that, but I
Yeah,
mean that's what he's
and
known
it-
for.
it's-
And
and it's funny. I'll tell you a story. One day I ran into George Benson.
okay,
So I ran into George Benson and
old school jazz player, right?
Yes,
Yeah,
yes,
right. Yeah,
George
okay.
Benson. So George Benson comes up to me. He goes, "What's my boy Kevin doing these days?"
He wanted the scoop from you.
Yeah, he was. I said, "No, we're just after the Tonight Show. He's just recording albums, just going
Yeah.
down, having fun, and doing what he likes to do.
Yeah.
Play here, play there, but not like an everyday job.
Yeah, but just doing his thing.
So
Yeah.
So George Benson asked me, "Hey, can you give me Kevin's number?" Okay, all right. What are you getting to, George? He goes, "You know what? I recorded that boy's first album. I produced it," George said. So I said, "Wow, really?" He goes, "Yeah." So how can I not give him his number?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I must relinquish.
Yeah, so then it could be a good thing or it could be a bad
Yeah,
thing.
right. It's either going to go good or bad. Someone's going to be mad
Exactly.
or someone's going to be very stoked.
Exactly. So what I did is I gave him the number.
Yeah.
And one day I went to dinner with Kevin, and I was hanging out with Kevin. And I go to dinner. I go, "Hey Kevin, did George ever call you?" And then Kevin goes, "Wait a minute, did you set that up?"
Yeah.
I go, "Yeah, I did." He goes, "Yeah, he did call me. I'm glad I got his number back." I'm like, "Good, it went out well, man."
Right.
It came
That was
out
a
well.
bonus. Yeah.
So it turned out pretty well. So I was happy about that.
Killer.
Yeah. So who's gonna? You get a phone call from George Benson.
Yeah, right.
You better be a happy camper, man. He's
Yeah,
one of the
right.
legendary. He's one of the
Yeah,
legendary.
you better make some things
musicians.
happen for sure. Yeah, we're making people shine here for sure. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's cool, man. To have
Yeah.
those connections
Yeah.
in the music industry. Because a lot of people come to me and ask me, "Hey, how can I get this? How can I get that?" As an artist relations specialist, it's not easy. It's not an easy job. It takes time.
Yeah.
It's work.
Yeah.
It's pretty much work.
Yeah.
So when people ask me to do this or to do that, I say, well, am I going to get compensated?
Yeah, nothing's given.
Yeah,
you got to work for it.
and
Yeah.
stuff, and then
Yeah.
and then also there's jobs that I do that require pay, and sometimes people can't afford me because it's not the way it should be.
Yeah.
I mean, but the music is so scarce now,
Right.
and money is scarce in music
Totally.
these days. But I'm trying to change that around.
Yeah.
I'm trying to open a new way outlook music. You know, you got these tribute bands while the actual musicians are still alive.
Yeah, right.
You know,
right,
why are we doing that?
Yeah, you're right.
Why are we doing that? Why can't I can understand?
Go support the original act of the members that are actually surviving.
Yeah, I can understand if it's
they're gone.
If they're gone, if they're like the Prince tribute, I can live with that. The Jimi Hendrix tribute, I can live with that. The AC/DC Bonfire days with Bon Scott days, I could live with that.
Yeah.
You know, but why pretend to be somebody who's still alive?
Yeah, that doesn't make sense.
And being a tribute band to that, you know, I've seen that a lot, and it's just like it's I don't know. I mean,
I can agree with you on that. I don't
if they're
see
gone, I can understand. That's a tribute because they're gone.
Yeah,
but while they're still alive, it's not really a.
You're just a copy band.
Yeah, it's a copy band, and it's just like, you know, why you want to do that?
Yeah,
you know, that's why I don't understand. That's my mentality of thinking.
I get you.
You know, so I was thinking, you know, it's okay to play their music as a cover band, but don't pretend to be the band.
Tribute band.
Yeah, don't pretend to be the band.
Tribute means that the people are gone. So that doesn't make sense.
It doesn't make sense, and I think if the person is gone, the tributes are allowed, you know.
Right. Yeah.
But I mean, like Led Zeppelin tribute bands, you know, Led Zeppelin's still around, which the one member's gone, which is John Bonham.
Yeah.
But you have Jason.
But I mean,
Bonham.
Plant said basically that he's never doing it again.
That is correct. You know,
we're all waiting for it to happen, for him to go against his word, because we would love to see it.
Well,
since that reunion thing they did.
What's going on with that right now is I toured with Page and Plant '98. I did a No Quarter tour.
Okay.
And
that was the acoustic one they did, right?
Yes, that is correct.
Right.
It was a very fun times then. What was going on at the time was I had a time that I sat down and spoke to Robert Plant, and Robert Plant told me, he goes, you know, when I was touring in the 70s in America, my son died.
Yep.
So then when John died, that hit me hard. So John Bonham died. So they kind of just
all of my love.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So all that came to a halt. He said.
Yeah.
And
that takes its toll, man. I mean, that's a huge loss.
And now, what's going on between Jimmy Page, John Paul Jones, and Jason?
Right.
Is that they're butting heads with John and Jimmy. Jimmy Page and John Paul Jones are butting heads over how it's written and how it's right.
Oh, I thought it was more Robert and Jimmy because
no, it's more
okay.
It's more John and
because they said they did the reunion and they wanted to keep doing more stuff, but Robert was the one that said
during rehearsals,
and he's been doing his Alison Krauss thing happened right around that time, and he was kind of doing really successful on his own and is doing his own thing, and I felt like, okay, well, Plant's just kind of like, you know, I don't need to go there. I'm doing well off on my own, and these guys need me more than I need them, kind of thing.
Yeah, you know, and that's the thing with Robert Plant. Robert Plant, he's kind of doing his other projects as well. He's doing the Band of Joy. He's doing his other projects.
He's got enough going on.
Yeah, so
he did the country stuff and some other stuff. He's branching out. You know, what's the band with the psychedelic stuff he's doing? What's the name of that band? I forget. I'm sorry.
That was the I forgot the name also. I know the Band of Joy was one of them, and then the other was.
And then he did his solo stuff in like the 80s and 90s. So he's kind of got that going too. So
he got his solo career.
You know,
going.
He's well off. Other than the other guys. Yeah, they are. You know, but the other guys to pull it off, they need him. You know what I mean? And they got Jason, so I mean that kind of rounds it out in a family way.
That's what Jason said. He goes, "It's blood. It's blood. It's family blood from Led Zeppelin."
And he doesn't suck.
He doesn't.
He's great.
You know, I saw him perform with Foreigner. He was great with Foreigner.
That O2 thing they did was killer, dude.
Oh, yeah.
It's the best thing you're ever going to get.
And that's
to
what Robert
Zeppelin.
said. But every time when they did the O2 concert in London, when Robert said at the end of the show, he goes, "It sounded great, but every time I looked back, it wasn't John Bonham."
Right. That's
what he said. He goes, sounded great, but it wasn't John Bonham, and that was his best friend. So
get back to this. You were saying Plant and Paul Jones were the ones that were butting
That
heads.
is correct. And then they've been going at it like they're saying Well, that's how it should be. And then John Paul Jones would say, well, I play it the correct way. You play it your way.
He improvises.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, so
it's just it's just little technicalities that
yeah,
going
right,
on.
yeah.
I mean, if they would sit down and rehearse and do what they did for the O2.
Yeah.
I mean, it's been 30 years since
Right.
Zeppelin broke up.
I know.
You know, so
Yeah.
so the 30 years people get
know.
rusty. So
Yeah.
but
you know what? I haven't seen anything by Plant, and I love the guy. You know, as far as Zeppelin, and with Jimmy Page, nothing.
Yeah.
And I heard last year or the year before, he said, there's something, I'm working on something, and it'll be exposed in the next year or two. Everybody wait, because this is going to be like a huge thing.
Yeah.
And I was like, and it was like he left a nail hanger right there. I was like, what is it? But with John Paul Jones, he did that Crooked Vultures, or the Crooked Vultures. And like, dude, he killed it with that. I'm like, he still got it. I mean, and I'm a Foo Fighters guy and a Queens of the Stone Age guy and all that stuff. So when I got to see that supergroup come together, and I got to see what he could contribute and what he added with the still doing organ, still doing sick bass, and it was all original stuff. I'm like, he's still killing it, dude.
Exactly.
I mean, he's on top of his game. He didn't lose an edge. I mean, he's like, boom, he's still there. He's like, the age has not affected anything. Like this guy, he's legit. I mean, so I was just thinking, and that was a little bit after the O2 thing. So I was thinking, like, John Paul Jones, he's got it.
He's got it. He did that thing with he did a show with Paul Gilbert.
Okay.
And
from Mr. Big.
Yeah, Mr. Big.
Okay.
Paul Gilbert from Mr. Big. And he did a great job with Paul Gilbert, and so
yeah,
it's sad that to Mr. Big, Pat Torpey just passed away.
Right.
Yeah, so that was a big blow to Mr. Big.
Yeah.
And also to the Knack. He was the drummer of the Knack.
Okay.
So
I didn't know that.
yeah, Prescott Niles is really heartbroken over that because
Yeah,
I was
yeah.
his drummer. So
Right.
every time I talk to Prescott, he's like, Pat's gone, man. There's nothing I can do. So yeah, it's just sad. It's very sad, And there's only two members of the Knack left: the guitarist and the bassist. It's very sad.
Hard to carry on.
It's hard to carry on. Yeah.
Well, let's go back really quick. We were talking about, back in the day, the Montgomery Ward and the Sears and all that stuff and getting guitar. So let's segue from that into your start into a profession. Like, where did this all start for you to start monetizing, and like, how did a connection get made for you? Where did you earn your stripes to work your way up to? I know you've told me about numerous different acts that you've toured with, and this. I'm like, how does a cat like you get involved with that? Where does it start?
Well, it's all word of mouth. It's not like I go and apply for these jobs. It's that people go, hey, I know who you are.
Right.
Would you like to come and work with us? And I say, yeah. What do you have going on?
So this is as a teenager or out of high school.
Actually, I went when I was in school. When I was in college, I was taking music classes.
Okay. Where'd you go to school?
I was doing a junior college at the time.
Okay.
And at the junior college, I was taking television production.
Cool. Okay.
And
for those of you listeners who don't think that school matters, go to school. Yeah, school counts. I mean, you make connections out of anything. Yeah. What you learn is what you take from it, but you do make connections, and I can vouch for that. I mean,
I started working at Lorimar in Culver City at the studios there with Greg Heschong.
Did you do any like interning or any of that kind of stuff to get your foot in the door? And
that was doing.
We all got to work for free to get our foot.
And then Greg kind of guided me. He gave me direction. He goes, yeah, you want to do this. He gave me a whole catalog, a big, thick book with all the production companies in Los Angeles.
Okay.
And he goes, just hit those guys up, man, and see what you want to do.
So this is why you're still going to school, or like after?
I was doing a music major with a television production major.
Okay, cool.
So I was like, okay, you know what? Let me step in both fields. Because I grew up in Culver City.
So this is like in your early 20s or something? Out of high school?
I was 19.
So you got an early start. You had a vision. You knew what you wanted to chase. And straight out of school, you said, I'm going to do music for movies and this and that.
Growing up in Culver City, I grew up with a lot of musicians, Robert Trujillo from Metallica.
Funk Junkies.
Yeah, Rocky George. All those guys.
Suicidal Tendencies.
We're all musicians. I remember sitting in Mr. Villain's class in high school with Robert and Rocky and all these other guys that we used to hang out with, and Stephen Crapia and all those guys.
Cool.
We used to sit in guitar. We used to just jam with each other, man. So I got that feel.
The music, man, is for sure.
You don't get good unless you do it. You know, you got to do it. You can't. It doesn't happen.
And even
overnight.
sitting in your room and doing it, that's great. But doing it with others is where you get great. That's where you learn, and you like. That's the school of hard knocks right there. Is jamming with other people only makes you better. No matter, and being eclectic with how many people in different styles that you play with is gonna make you better.
Yeah.
I mean, like, just never pigeonhole yourself into a corner with one certain group. I always say jam with as many as I learned that from Hendrix.
Oh yeah,
Hendrix going and Greenwich Village and all that, just jamming with anybody and everybody.
Yeah,
that gave me the inspiration to never turn down a jam session.
Well, I heard Jimi Hendrix never left home without a guitar.
Yeah, no,
he had
you're
a guitar
right.
in his hand all the time.
Never turned down a session. Never turned down a gig. Never turned down a. Just to go jam with people makes you more well-rounded.
Exactly.
Yeah, for sure.
Get out there and
that's what you're saying.
And lose the ego.
Yeah.
No
Be
ego,
humble.
man. Just go out there, play, and learn. Focus.
Yeah.
Watch what people are doing instead of like, hey, you suck and you do this.
Yeah.
And you go, hey, no, I don't want to suck. I want to learn.
Right.
That's
so
what you
Culver
do.
City's kind of the mecca. I mean, that's L.A. and that's kind of a little
Culver
bit of
City was interesting. Culver City was a very fast-paced high school.
Sure.
Yeah, I consider it being Fast Times at Culver High.
Yeah.
Because it was like Fast Times at Richmond High at the time.
Yeah, for sure.
It was you had your gangbangers.
Yeah.
You had your surfers.
Yeah. Your stoners, your musicians, your this, your that, the preppy crowd, whatever. Yeah.
You had your break dancers. You had all that stuff.
Yeah.
It was mid '80s, man.
Right. Yeah.
So it was kind of cool to go there and learn from these people. But a lot of big names come from there. We have Robert Trujillo who came out of there. We have Christopher Knight from the Brady Bunch who went there. We had Kirk Alexander. You might know him as Big Boy.
Okay.
On Power.
Yeah.
Or whatever it is.
Big Boy.
Big Boy.
Yeah. Right.
He came out of there.
Okay.
We also had Rocky George, Mike Muir, South Tennessee's.
Yeah. South Tennessee. Yeah.
Yeah. So we had
Psycho Michael.
Yeah, with Tim Layana, the pitcher for the Major League Baseball pitcher, he went there.
So all kinds of different talent. Every different which way.
Carnell Lake from the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Okay.
We also had a good friend of mine, Derek Deese, who was a 49er.
Yeah.
San Francisco 49er.
Right.
We went there. So we had sports, we had music, we had entertainment, we have all these guys that just rose to fame.
For sure.
And even some became politicians.
Right.
But politicians from California, it's hard to hear, man.
Yeah.
You got to be East Coast to be a politician.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that's what they say. The East Coast has the politicians and the lawyers, and California has the actors and the musicians.
The entertainment, yeah. So, all right, so we're doing some intern stuff, and we got out of high school, we're doing that stuff. So lead me into how this becomes connections for you.
Well,
segue, open doors. How did that happen for you?
Well, what you do is when you go into film, you meet people.
Right.
And people start spawning out. They spawn out and they have other projects going. So they'll call you and say, "Hey, you worked with me on the show, man. I know you."
What was your first project? What?
It was the Full House with Jeff Franklin Productions in Culver City.
And what were you doing with that?
I was doing a grip.
Okay.
I was just film loading and grip.
Awesome.
We had 3 cameras at the time, and when you're filming these cameras, you have 35 millimeter film.
Sure.
And back then, these cameras would jam up.
Okay.
Yeah, and
old school. It's not digital. Yeah, right.
Yeah, so you always had all 3 cameras running.
Right.
So if one jams up, you got the other 2 filming.
You still got something.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So then we was cut and we would unjam the cameras.
And
do it again.
Yeah,
so it was interesting. It was really interesting. Full House was awesome.
Was that in front of a live studio audience?
That was a full audience. Yeah, that was
Okay.
filmed in Culver City at the Sony Studios now,
cool.
which was Lormar at the time.
How cool was that for you, bro? I mean, just like
It was
coming out
cool,
of school and doing that,
growing up in Culver City, I saw them film. I was born in 19...
I mean, you're already around all these cats. A little bit of some stuff
I saw
that are
them
coming
film
up, but
Chips all the time.
Cool.
Chips, Starsky and Hutch, 8 Is Enough. All these TV shows were just filmed in Culver City.
Totally.
This is when the booming of
Mecca
of television was going.
Yeah, totally.
That was all around me.
That's awesome,
growing
dude.
up in a entertainment environment.
Yeah, right.
It just kind of fell into it.
It just probably became normal after a while.
Yeah,
though, for sure.
because
I'm like, you're naming off all these names like it's nothing, but for people that are listening, they're going like, "Wait, what? He worked on what?" He was like, that's cool. cool, you know?
Yeah, it was back in the day, so
Yeah.
I did that, and then people would just branch off and do other projects, and they'd call me and say, "Hey, James, can we do this? Can we do that?"
Totally.
Yeah, let's do it. You know,
Yeah.
and even Jack Black went to Culver High. You know,
Okay.
and then he left in when we were in 7th grade. You know, I known him since the 4th grade, and he took off and went into I think it was Crossroads over in Santa Monica.
Okay.
Which he did his acting in his career.
Okay.
And that's when it all started. But
Right.
to this day, I still in contact with him. You know,
Yeah,
not as much as we used to be. But
Right, yeah,
He's
yeah.
got a family. He's got
All
work
kinds of stuff
lined
going
up.
on, yeah.
So it's hard to keep the friendship going
Yeah,
when
yeah,
you're
yeah.
working so much.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
People stay busy.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
it's just a matter of word of mouth.
Sure.
Get in here, get there. Everybody goes, "Oh, you have business card?" No, you know what I do is I have an e-card on my phone.
Yeah.
I said, "What's your
My name gets around, and that's plenty enough to keep my roster busy.
What's your phone number? I'll text
Yeah.
it to you. There it
Yeah.
is. You have it now."
Totally.
You know, everybody gives
Yeah.
me a card. What happens in that card? I say, "Oh, I put it in the drawer somewhere. I lost it."
Right.
Yeah, but if you put it on your phone, "Oh, it's on my phone. I know where it's at." You know,
Yeah.
that's what you do. So
Well, let's be honest here. Back then, there wasn't that.
that is true.
Back
Yeah.
then, it was like
I was watching some YouTube.
we had to remember. We had to memorize numbers back then.
Yeah.
You know, I remember when I was a kid. I mean,
What was that number?
Cell phone
8, 6,
days.
7,
No.
5,
Yeah,
2,
right.
9.
Yeah. You know, you had like a little piece of paper in your wallet that had a few numbers that you had to write down. You know, that kind of thing. So
exactly. Yeah.
But,
Or you had a notebook in
Yeah,
high school.
right.
I guess when I graduated class in '88, we had no cell phones. We only
No.
had pagers.
Yeah,
back
right,
then.
yeah, pagers,
We only
that's
had
right,
a pager
yeah.
back then, but
Yeah.
I didn't have a pager then.
Yeah.
But you know, I always opened my first cover of my first
Yeah.
book and just
Got
write
your
it.
numbers. Yeah,
Because
right.
In our high school, it was mandatory to have a book cover on your books.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
you just write
And I
the
used to
book
wrap
cover.
mine in like Stater Brothers newspaper, like duct taping it, and write my own artwork and stuff,
Yeah.
and draw and whatever.
Paper
but
bag.
yeah, paper bag. Yeah, brown paper bag.
Brown
Yeah.
paper bag. That's it.
So-
You know. So it's just like back in the day, it was like it wasn't like that. You know,
Yeah.
like it is today.
Okay.
Which is a lot cooler. Yeah, I like it. You know, I was watching some Grateful Dead videos on YouTube,
Sure.
and everybody's paying
They're
attention.
focused. They're watching the
focused.
show.
They're
They're in
watching.
the
You know, they're just-
moment. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
and
Right.
they're like
Yeah.
no one's holding a cell phone.
No,
They're just
no.
like focused and just like
Yeah.
watching.
Watching the show.
Now you go into a
Soaking it
show,
up, yeah.
everybody's down looking
Yeah.
down and say, "Oh, you know where I'm at." You know,
Yeah.
I'm doing
1,000
this.
phones being put up to video it. Yeah.
Exactly, you know, and
Yeah.
it's just and that hurts the band a lot.
Yeah.
because a lot of people would just, "Oh yeah, I see what they do. I don't want to see them." You know.
Yeah.
Back then it was more about a mystery. What does this band do on stage?
Word of mouth was huge, and
Yeah.
there was for sure.
You know,
yeah.
I remember like 1982 AC/DC at the Forum for those Back to Rock concert.
Yeah, yeah.
One of the best concerts I was to. I was 12 years old.
Yeah.
Here I am at an AC/DC concert at 12. It's just rocking, man.
Yeah.
Right. My cousin.
And you go to school the next day and you tell your buddies about it, and that's how the word of mouth spread that like AC/DC killed it that
Yeah,
night before.
yeah.
No one knew about it socially other than
Exactly.
you talking and telling, and the story is being told, and the lore starts to spread. Yeah, for sure. I mean, those are the old days. For
yeah,
sure.
old days are gone, man.
I
But-
hear you, bro.
But the new days, we can make something out of it, man.
There is, yeah.
We have to really
There's
focus.
pros and cons to it all.
Yeah, I think the business of music is still there. It's just that we're lowballing ourselves.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
All these bands are going out and lowballing themselves.
Sure.
If we stop lowballing ourselves,
Yeah.
music would be thriving again.
Yes.
But
Right.
you have all these musicians saying, "Oh, I can't do it for this much."
Right.
You know, if you really stand up to the plate
Mm-hmm.
and say, "Hey, look, I'd rather play to make money,
Yeah.
instead of pay to play."
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, a lot of bands pay to play these days.
For sure.
And you don't want to do that.
No.
You know, that's what's killing the industry.
Oh yeah, for sure.
You know, so we
Yeah.
have to make that awareness.
Yeah.
where-
Some bands they don't know that, they just want to play the whiskey, and the whiskey has this thing where unless you're a certain level,
Yeah, and
you're
you know,
gonna pay to play, and some people are
Yeah,
like,
pay to
man,
play."
we're a struggling high school band, we just want to play the whiskey, so sure, we'll pay to play,
Yeah,
and
and that's what's killing
don't get it,
That's
you
what's
know?
killing the industry.
Yeah,
you know?
for sure.
We need to make awareness that
Yeah.
hey, don't lowball yourselves.
Right,
you know?
yeah.
And the thing is, we have so many bands also.
I know it's saturated now.
Yeah, it's so saturated, so
yeah.
everybody's competing for the spot.
Sure.
So the thing is, we have to really focus on
Yeah.
on how to make it better.
Right.
You know, it's not easy. It's not gonna be an easy
No.
task, but you can. It's able to turn around. I
Okay.
think. You know, it's like the real estate industry. You know.
Yeah. We'll have a boom again one of these days. It's right around the corner. I
Yeah.
can feel it. I can taste it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah. And like we said earlier about tribute bands is also killing it. You know, so we have to stop that. You know,
there's a lot of factors for sure.
Yeah, there's a lot of factors. I mean, you got to really go out there and do what you got to do.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
I support original music. 100%.
Totally.
100% original music.
Yeah.
If I can produce a band that has 100, at least 33 original songs, is what I'm looking for.
Yeah.
So that I can produce and bring them alive and into this world.
Sure.
You know, because I also produce bands. You know. And so what I want to do is bring somebody up that has 33 hours. The reason I 33 songs. The reason I ask for 33 songs is when you sign a record deal, it's going to be a 3 to 5 year contract. And within those 3 to 5 years, you want 3 to 4 albums.
Sure.
So you put 12 songs on each album, or the maximum 12, minimum 10.
So you got at least 2 to 3 albums.
Exactly. So you have to have all that material written already,
right?
So that you can.
And by the time you get to the second or third, you would hope that there's another 20 or 30 more songs that were written.
Exactly. You don't stop working.
Yeah, for sure. But
that.
you know, I mean, as far as bands go, even just for these struggling bands that want to get a gig, gotta have covers. I mean, that's a local thing. I mean, that's like a lot of these venues.
I mean, for live performances,
it's good for a band to work both angles. Yeah, really. Like,
it is.
Get their foot in the door, booking the gigs with covers, but sneak in the originals and always be working on the originals to have that in the side pocket.
But I always tell people who play covers, do it your way.
Yeah. Mix it up.
Yeah, mix it up.
Do that one song in a reggae version or something, or do it in a totally different, slow at the tempo and all the things. Yeah, like make it your own for sure.
Make it your own.
Yeah, that's gonna separate you. But it is tough for original bands to get gigs. I mean, I have a buddy who's an original band, and that's what he's always talking about. He's like, man,
that's why you don't do bars.
Yeah. I know, yeah.
You want to get
but
into...
then you're in a pay-to-play situation, too. It's like a catch-22.
But the catch-22 of, about pay-to-play, but you also can get into the contact the right people. So there's ways to get around it.
Sure.
There's ways. You have to do your homework.
Yeah.
You can't be lazy about it.
No, for sure.
You got to do your homework. You have to get out there. You have to. You
got to put the work in to find the gigs and do the right thing.
Exactly.
You can't just sit around
so
and hope it's going to come to your
that's
way.
willing to
fight for it.
Yeah. 30 to 35 songs. You have a 3 to 5 year record contract.
Right.
Get out there. Produce
Which is that really? How much is that something now with the DIY and all this thing?
Well, this is the thing. The reason I still ask for 30 to 35 songs is because you want to release an album.
Yeah.
Out of those 30, 35 songs, maybe about 10% of those songs is going to be a hit.
Right.
So everybody's fighting for the next hit.
Yeah.
So if we fingerprint those songs when we record them, so when you Shazam them, or you Soundhound them.
Because I almost think it's almost all about singles now, really.
It is singles, but
it's not really about an album. You know? But as long as the album has 13 singles, then you're good. You're golden there. You know what I mean?
It's golden. But the thing is, when people look you up, what albums have you done?
Yeah.
What album is this off of?
Right.
So it gives you more marketing.
Sure.
You know, I want to buy the whole album. I want to listen to this whole album.
It still exists, but it's like, it's almost, I don't want to say it's irrelevant because it's not, but it's everything's changed in such a way that it's so hard to navigate what the right way about going about it is. And, you know, everybody has their own opinion and their own way and their own advice and their own thing. And it's like, it's so loose. It's just so up in the air with everything, and we're all still. I feel the industry is still. It's the iTunes and all these things, Spotify and all. It's all working. It's just starting to work itself out, but there's still no blueprint. There's still no how it was.
Exactly.
2000, after 2000 on, it was like the whole thing went out the window, and now it's just been like those old days are gone. Where striving to get a record deal was like the pinnacle, and now it's like.
Well, this is the hard market about it is that, you know, all these old bands like from the 70s, 60s, 80s, 90s, all when they signed on got radio contracts.
Sure.
So a lot of people now can't get radio contracts.
Sure.
The one you're competing with all the old bands like Zeppelin and all the AC/DC.
Classic rock.
Yeah. So if you're trying to put something new, you're going to have to go through a mom pop's FM radio for them to play it for you.
For sure.
But how many people know the mom pop's FM radio exists? Right?
Yeah.
So when you do a contract with radio, you're there. You're set for life.
Yeah.
You know, you get
once you're in
because it goes through a distributor.
Totally.
You know, so it
Yeah.
goes into distribution. So
Which is hard. It's a hard find. That's a hard gamble.
It takes
you know?
money.
Yeah.
It takes money.
Yeah,
you
right.
know? So if you have the money to pay for a distributor to get
Right.
you on there, go for it.
Right.
You know, that's the only way to do it.
Yeah.
Other than that, there's no way you're going to be able to
Yeah.
succeed. Call it, hey, can you play my song? The radio station's
Yeah,
not-
right.
Yeah,
You
we'll
got to
play
enter
it.
a contest or some kind of thing to like get any airplay now.
Yeah. Write the
Yeah.
best song. We'll give you 10 grand, right?
Yeah, right. Yeah. All right, so James, tell me about, okay, so you started on like Full House and these other things. How did you go from segueing from TV into your teching career and your knowledge as far as working with bands?
That's
How did we segue from TV to bands?
That's interesting, you know, because after I was working at the Motion Picture Television Fund. So in 2007, I started working at the Motion Picture Television Fund, and I kept working there to about 2011, and right after the writer's strike.
Okay.
The writer's strike knocked everybody out.
Yeah, and that was a thing. I
Yeah.
mean, that was a big thing.
Yeah, so everybody knocked out the writer's strike. You know, you're like, okay, what am I going to do now? You know, the writer's strike has really put everybody in hiatus. And
Yeah.
What are we going to do?
Right.
So I had met Kevin Eubanks, and Kevin was he goes, hey, James, you know, I need work on guitars.
Okay.
You know, so I started working as his guitar tech.
Right.
You know, and then Kevin knew all the stuff that I knew. He kind of picked my brain.
Okay.
He goes, what about this?
So wait, real quick. At this point, you were doing the grip stuff and doing the like behind the scenes kind of like TV stuff.
Commercials, stuff like that.
But you always, at your heart, were a guitar player and
guitar
working
player,
on guitars
and
and
working on
had
guitars and-
experience with that.
Exactly.
So where did you get your experience of teching?
Guitar teching?
Being able
It was just doing
Uh,
it from age 7.
Okay, just doing
age
it.
7, and,
Yeah.
you know, taking apart guitars, putting
Okay.
together.
So you just kinda, like, you didn't go to school for that, you just, like,
and
wanted
then
the
you kinda-
knowledge.
You kind of feel, but then I went to school for becoming a luthier.
Oh, okay. So I didn't know that. Okay.
Yeah, so I did go to school to become a
So
luthier.
was that when you were going to school?
No, actually, I just did. I was doing guitar tech from 2007 to about 2015.
Okay.
And then in 2016, I signed on. I went down to Palomar College in
Yeah.
in San Marcos,
Sure.
and I met Jeff Scott there. And
Okay.
Jeff Scott's the instructor for guitar building, woodworking.
Okay.
So I took a couple woodworking classes there. You know,
Right.
first before you do any guitar work out there, you have to build a clock.
Okay. Yeah. Right.
So I built a clock out of wood.
Yeah,
you know,
yeah,
I
yeah.
made it out of pine. Just for the hell of it, just
Yeah.
get it out of the way. And then so the next semester I took the guitar class.
Okay.
And I built this guitar that I have here. This is the first build I made.
Awesome.
That wasn't in pieces, you know.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
have another guitar that I made from pieces.
Okay.
Which is called like a Frankenstein
Yeah,
Strat
yeah,
or
yeah,
whatever,
yeah.
you know. But it's
Yeah.
a great guitar.
Right.
I love playing that one too. But this one is my one that I built from milling the wood all the way.
Sure.
So I made the neck, I made the fretboard, I made the guitar, you know, the whole
Yeah.
shebang. So I learned from Jeff Scott. He owns Illusions Guitars
Okay.
in Fallbrook.
Sure.
And he taught me how to build these guitars, and I said, "Cool." So then it brought me more knowledge. So now I do more as a guitar tech because I know how to build them.
Okay.
And I know what goes wrong with
Right.
them. So now it's just instead of intonating them and changing strings, I can do fret dressings.
Yeah.
I could rebuild nuts. I
Okay.
can rebuild saddles.
Yeah.
You know, I could do it all.
Yeah.
You know, anything the guitar needs, I'll build it
Right.
out of scratch.
Yeah.
So it's pretty handy. You know?
Okay.
It's pretty handy.
So you
I
always
guess-
had the love for the guitar, and then you got the knowledge on like the build.
Yeah,
part of
I
it,
guess I gave
behind the scenes.
You remember I gave a tip to your buddy over at
Yes.
the music store.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I forgot what it was, but I told him, you know, when you do that, do it this way. And,
Yeah.
and he did it. You know,
Yeah.
I guess he understood it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was pulling frets when you pull frets.
Sure.
Yeah, when you pull frets, you want to make sure that it's hot with an iron. So
Yeah,
it melts the
right,
glue.
right. Yeah.
So when you pull it, doesn't tear out.
Totally.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's what it was.
Yeah.
I told him, yeah. And so that's how I learned to do the guitars and stuff.
Right.
And then after that, I just started working more and more, and I introduced Jeff to Kevin Eubanks.
Okay.
And Kevin has a new line of guitars that Jeff designed for Kevin Eubanks.
Awesome.
So it's all word of
That
mouth.
created
and,
a
you
little
know,
friendship and-
yeah,
yeah.
You know how this is how I keep the music.
Things
in the community.
snowball. Yeah.
Yeah,
The
you know-
name gets out.
Yeah, and the guitars that Kevin's playing now, he loves. You know,
Okay.
he enjoys playing them and his stuff. So we're just
Right.
now we're just working on a patent to get it publicized so
Okay.
people know what it is. You know, so
Right.
once that has a patent, we can release what it is.
Yeah.
You know, so it's kind of cool.
All right, so
Yeah.
when you started actually teching for bands and stuff, where did that segue from the TV stuff to teching for bands doing band stuff?
In 1996, 95, Jimmy Page had a band called The Firm,
Sure.
and the drummer of that band
Was that Paul Rogers?
Paul Rogers, and the drummer was Chris Slade.
Yes.
So I got a phone call from Chris Slade because he's a friend of mine.
Okay.
And Chris Slade with his English accent, hey, James, it's Slade, you know.
Yeah,
And,
yeah.
I say, hey, what's up? He goes, hey, you know, we had a fallout. We're looking for somebody that can tech for us on the road.
Okay.
I said, what do you need? He goes, we need somebody who knows guitars, who knows somebody who can swap them out in and out,
Yeah.
and tune them up. I said, count me in.
Yeah.
So I went down to the studio where everything was.
Okay.
and over in North Hollywood.
Sure.
And then I met up with Slade there, and Slade introduced me to people. He goes, hey, this is my good friend James, you know, and stuff. I said, okay, well, cool, man. So from there, I just met everybody, and it was on. It was just like we got along really well.
So you just did studio stuff, or did you hit the road with
I hit
these
the
guys?
road. I hit the road.
Wow,
Yeah,
okay.
I hit the road. I hit the road with them. I hit the road with Kevin.
Yeah.
You know, so I'm an experienced touring
Sure.
tech.
Yeah, which is a whole nother...
It's a whole different
That's an
ballgame.
animal right there of its
not.
own.
We're the ones who do the dirty work.
Sure. Yeah.
You know, we're the ones who they don't see us behind the scenes.
No.
But we're the ones that make the shows go
Right.
on.
Make it happen.
We make it
Yeah.
happen. You know, if I don't have anything set right,
Mm-hmm.
it's my job to have those amplifiers up. My job to have those guitars in tune. I have to make sure that there's sound when they hit the stage.
For sure.
You know, if you do that, you're making the artist look bad, and you're fired right on the spot.
Oh, yeah.
You know, yeah, that happened to I guess it happened to Dave Mustaine,
Uh-huh.
where his tech did something wrong and he
Sure.
fired him on the spot.
Yeah?
Yeah,
I'm sure he's not the only one.
Oh no! You got.
yeah.
It's a stressful job.
It's a stressful job, and you better be on it because, you know.
Yeah, for all those listening,
Yeah.
if you want to be a good guitar tech, do your job.
Yeah. Yeah, I had a buddy that I went to high school with, and the bass player from Alien Ant Farm, Ty Zamora, he was a year ahead of us. And he was in a cover band with his brothers called The Color Red, and they were in, like, you know, Riverside and stuff, just doing whatever. And then his brother formed Alien Ant Farm, and one of my good buddies, Injun Joe Daniel Waits, he was a really technical bass player. He could play Primus and 311 and all the, you know, slap stuff and all that stuff. And he was like known as like a pretty darn good bass player. So when Alien Ant Farm formed, he needed a bass tech, and so he asked my buddy, hey. And so we all were like, oh, like, dude, you get to, you know, so he got like handpicked from Ty, you know, because it's like this cat knows about basses and he knows what I need and what I'm looking for, and I could train him to be like my dude, you know?
Exactly.
So he went out and he started with those guys, and then he got to go out with the U's, and then it was 311, and it was, you know, a bunch of bands, and he kind of made his way through teching for different bands just for making connections, you know? And so for me, as being a friend with him, I got to be like, I was living in Sacramento, and I got to go to San Francisco at the Warped Tour, and I got to see Papa Roach and Alien Ant Farm meet for the first time on a tour bus. Like, to see those guys all introduce themselves to each other, it was really neat, you know? And, like, actually got to go to a barbecue the next day to Kobe Shattuck's house. It was right out of Vacaville, because I was in Sacramento.
Oh, yeah, I know there.
We went there, and we watched this crazy movie called Gummo and all this weird shit, and we had a barbecue, and it was like, it was just like, I got a little taste of, like, the inside, fly on the wall kind of scene of, like, this is these guys' lives, like, on a day-to-day thing, dude, with, like, the tour bus parked in front of his house and the neighbors knocking on the door. I just wanted to get a quick picture, really, you know, we just, you know, and so it was kind of cool to see, I got to meet, like, Adam Sandler behind stage at 311 concert and stuff.
Yeah,
It's like, these are normal things that happen for all these dudes on a day-to-day basis. For us just to be put on the VIP list and get back there for a couple shows was cool, but that was his life, you know?
Sacramento is big for music, you know?
Yeah.
So where you live.
Oh,
you
yeah.
know, I played the Arco Arena.
Yeah.
Out there,
Yeah.
you know, I've done that.
Yeah.
You know, I've done Save Center in Fresno.
Yeah.
The old Save Center, the concrete one.
Sure.
That was wicked. That place, that was haunted, man. That place was cold and eerie in that building,
Right, yeah.
man.
Yeah.
Back
But
in the
teching
day.
is a whole animal of its own,
It's
like
a
you say.
whole-
You could be fired at any minute, man.
Yeah,
If
it's
you
a
don't
whole different,
produce
you know?
and don't hit it. Like, it's got to be right. Like, everything's got to be
Everything's
on
gotta be-
par, dude. And
everything's
if
got-
somebody on stage is pissed, you're done. Like you're easily done.
Yeah,
Like it's just like we could replace you in a heartbeat.
And that's the thing, you know. I'm going to be honest with you. You know, being a guitar tech is not easy.
No.
It depends on the artist you're working with. Some artists are very temperamental. Some of these artists are type A personalities.
Sure. Yeah.
I've had my share of being yelled at.
Yeah.
But
Creative
you know what?
types. Yeah.
I stay cool the whole time.
Sure.
And I just absorb it.
Play the
Get
game.
the job done.
Yeah.
Then deal with it later.
Yeah, right, right.
Hey, how come you were like that to me the other day?
Yeah.
And then if they're apologetic.
Yeah, we're all
okay.
cool, man. You know, just in the heat of the moment. Yeah.
You know, I remember, going to Sacramento back in the Arco Arena days. You know, that was a lot of fun. That arena, that was a good size arena.
Yeah.
And then also, there was a place over in Tulare, right south of Fresno.
Okay.
Called the J Street Bar.
Huh.
And it was a metal scene. It was a metal bar.
Sure.
And that's the first time I seen Korn play from Bakersfield. Yeah,
You're right.
Monkey was there playing. I didn't know who these guys were, man.
Right.
They were good.
Yeah.
You know, and then a couple of years later, I'd see them on billboards. I go,
they're making it. Yeah, these guys are big.
Man.
Yeah,
That's cool. I should have worked with those guys. You know? That was cool, man.
Yeah.
You know, back in the day.
Yeah,
I mean,
I remember my brother worked for Tower Records, and he used to get promotional use only. These little, this is cassette tapes. This is before CDs.
Yeah.
Cassette tapes that had promotional use only. I had Korn, I had SGP, I had like a lot, and my brother would float me these.
That was
like 4 months before the album ever really hit or came out.
That was for the overhead PA systems.
Totally, and they would send them out to the record companies, and some of them would work their way into hands of the workers. And I remember getting that Korn album, and that changed everything, bro.
I got a few of those albums at home where it says property of record company such and such.
Yeah.
And if they must be rendered at request. I'm like, oh, really?
Totally.
So I
have some Soundgarden vinyl and stuff that my brother gave me. It's like promotional use only.
Yeah, that's cool. Man. That's good to have.
But that's back in the old days. I mean, that shit doesn't exist these days.
No, because everything's digital now. You get a card to download music now.
But we can relate to that world of those.
But you know what?
Those old school days, man.
Now vinyl's back.
Yeah, it is. You're right.
Vinyl is back.
Yeah, third band records and all this stuff making it come back.
What does that hold for the new generation of bands?
I don't know. Yeah, right.
What does that hold? I mean, we used to. I guess when we were kids, we were paying $8.99 to $12.99 for an album, right?
Like $30 now, dude.
Yeah, it's $30 for an LP. What? Plastic is out of style or what?
Yeah,
man?
I don't know.
Maybe I'll recycle a Toyota. Maybe I can make as a record, make my LP out of recycled Toyotas, man.
So was the Page Plant thing like kind of your first biggie?
Yeah, it was one of my highlights of my career.
Sure.
Even though
you said that was 95, 96?
It was 98.
98, okay.
We ended the second to last show was in New Orleans in 1998. Okay. And then we
did a couple smaller things before you worked your way up to something. Yeah, and then that's a pinnacle. That's a bragger right there.
Yeah, then we ended the show. Right. We ended the concert in Texas.
Yeah, okay.
Because at the time, Robert Plant was living in Texas.
Ure.
So we ended the show there, and then I just flew back to L.A.
Okay.
So it was a good run.
What a great show! What a great tour! What a great setup!
Experience.
I mean, great experience.
Experience, and I think that opened the door.
Sure.
For more of what I do.
Yeah.
And, it grabbed me respect. Whatever I do in the music industry, I got great respect.
Right.
People respect me.
Yeah. So throw some shout out. After that, what kind of acts did you work with after that? After that opened some doors for you.
After that, it kind of slowed down.
Okay.
So I kind of
we're tailing into the 2000s where things started to Napster and all that crap.
Everything started slowing down.
Sure.
And I was desperate for work. So luckily I had a friend who was a pharmacist.
Okay.
And grandfathered me into being a pharmacy technician.
Okay.
So I kind of did that for a little bit.
Right. Okay.
And then when things started sizzling again, I left that and I went back into the industry.
Okay.
And then I started working on commercials.
Yeah.
And
everyone's got to pay their bills, man.
Yeah, miscellaneous things.
Yeah.
We don't work for anybody. We're contractors.
No. Yeah. Totally.
So we do our little thing. So we collect our.
Yeah. People don't understand that you're a contractor.
Yeah. Exactly. We're a contractor.
Yeah.
And then it's just word of mouth, and you just keep going, and you find little jobs.
Yeah.
You take them.
Yeah.
And then when you take little jobs, if you're too good to take a little job, think again, man.
Yeah. No.
You meet people.
Humble.
Yeah, meet
that
people.
you never know what door's going to open for something.
Meet people.
Yeah, for
These
sure.
people are going to tell you, hey, I know who you are.
Yeah.
I got some work for you.
Sure.
And you don't lowball yourself either.
No.
You keep your rate up.
Right.
And say, hey, man, this is my rate.
This is what I'm worth.
Yeah, that's what, exactly. My
Yeah.
name is here. My name is there.
Right.
You know, I'm not a walk in the park kind of guy.
Right.
You know, so I just,
Yeah.
you have to really, you
You got some expertise behind you. You got some notches on the belt where you're worth something.
I have quite a few.
Yeah.
You know, I've done a lot. You know,
Right.
so it's just something that I am proud of.
Yeah.
But I'm not egotistical about it.
No.
You know,
Yeah.
I like to help people.
Yeah.
If somebody has a guitar problem, say, hey, you know, James, I need help with my guitar. Bring it to me. I'll fix it for
Sure.
you. Like I was over in Redondo Beach on Friday. A buddy of mine called me. He goes, you know, my guitar is not sounding right. And so I went over there. I looked at it. I crowned his frets. I cleaned up, polished his frets. You know, I gave him a fret dressing and all that. And it was a 2005 Telecaster. And when he was done, he was like, man, this is like brand new again.
Yeah.
And he was happy, you know.
Right.
I mean, but you do quality work.
Sure.
It's not just to have the title.
No.
If you have the title,
Yeah.
do the work.
Yeah.
You know, because
Yeah, whether it's for somebody who's not paying or whether it's for somebody who is a well-known dude that's paying top dollar, the work always is the most important part of it.
I go the extra mile for everybody.
Yes, right.
I always say, even if I'm not getting paid for that,
Totally.
I'll still do it.
I get
I said,
you.
look, it's
Yeah.
okay. I'll do it for you.
It's your name on that work,
It is my name on
whether
that work.
how much they paid.
Exactly.
Exactly.
It's my name
Yeah.
on that work. So that's what I do. So I make sure that my quality work, and everybody tells me, hey, man,
Yeah.
this guitar sounds killer.
Yeah.
I don't know what you did to it.
Yeah,
I
right.
never get it sound this way.
Yeah.
But, you know, I have all the tools for it, you know.
Yeah, and part of it's, you know, it's like, that's my little secret. You'll never know what I did.
Yeah,
I
you know.
tweaked it and I made it just perfect for you. You know, it's one of those things, man. Like,
Yeah.
that's right. That's just what I do. It's just what I do. So
Yeah.
good for you.
Yeah, you know, it's just-
that comes with years of experience. For
It
sure.
does, you know, because mostly people will use the tools to get it done right.
Right.
I do it by feel.
Hands, you know.
You know, my cousin Michael Grover
Okay.
is also a guitarist.
Uh-huh.
He was in the band Black Vulture Conspiracy.
Okay.
And he called me up. He goes, hey, James, can you work on my guitar?
Sure.
I said, yeah, I'll work on your guitar. What's going on, man? He goes, I just can't get it dialed in right because, you know, I use heavy tops, thin bottoms. So I'm like, yeah, okay. You know, he's one of those metal guys, you know, those speed metal.
Right.
I said, well, let me take a look at it. So, you know, it's a Les Paul. Les Pauls, if you don't have tension on it, they're not going to bow.
Sure.
So what did I do? I tweaked the whole guitar. I give him the guitar. So he played it. He goes, "Oh man, that's the way I like it. Kind of spongy, you know."
Yeah,
I'm
yeah,
like,
yeah.
Okay, cool, man.
Yeah.
So
He
what
gave
else
it
you
the
want me to-
treatment,
Yeah,
yeah.
so I gave it to him. He goes, "Man, I want you to do my other guitar." So I did his other
I've got
guitar.
5 more guitars for you, bro.
Yeah, but I guess, but when you're family, man, you're family. You
Right,
can't
yeah,
really
yeah.
Say, hey, man, you gonna buy me dinner? You know? You know,
Yeah,
so,
right.
So
Yeah.
we ended up going to a Chinese place where he paid. So I
Yeah,
was like,
right.
Okay,
Yeah.
cool, man.
Making it right.
Yeah. So Michael's cool, man. Michael, he's on. I think he's on hiatus right now for doing another band, another
Okay.
project. Got to check in with him, see what he's got going on and stuff. But yeah,
Yeah.
you know, it's fun. Yeah. So that's how when you're a guitar tech, you have to really punch it out, man.
Sure.
It's not an easy job.
No.
You take your time with every single thing that you're doing. Patience is the key. You know, even when you do a finish, you know, sometimes
It's totally behind the scenes, but it is there's tough work. There's a tough
Yeah.
job. It's under pressure, and you have to deliver. It really is one of those high pressure situations you have to deliver. Whether it's on tour or whether it's working in a studio or whether it's just working on someone's guitar, you have to deliver. I mean, your name is on that delivery.
Yeah,
That's what it comes down to.
I'm gonna try to do a production about guitar techs. You know,
Sure.
a film crew following
That would
me
be awesome, dude.
on
the scenes look.
on the location of what a guitar
Yeah,
tech really
what
goes
happens.
through. You know, just to see the
Totally.
whole fact that's going
Yeah, yeah.
there. You know,
Right.
Yeah, everybody thinks, oh, you got a kickback job, man.
Yeah,
you
right.
You're just there
Yeah.
tuning guitars and put on stage.
Yeah,
Well,
right.
yeah,
Yeah.
most of it is
Yeah,
keeping it in
there's
tune.
some tuning going on,
Yeah,
but there's a
when
lot more.
But there's other things, you know. I have an artist break a strap pin.
Yeah.
What do? You have to have the tools to be able to fix that.
Totally.
You have to have all the tools at hand.
Yeah.
You know. Sometimes I see strip pins come out. You know, when you have locking, it
Yeah.
strips right out. So what do you have? You have to have toothpicks and glue so you can screw it in and holes, you know.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
you gotta wait for the glue to dry. You know?
Yeah, but you got your own workbench. You got your stuff. I mean, you've got the tools at hand to make that happen. That's a whole profession in its own right, to know how to use the tools to make things happen. They have numerous guitars. It's not just one guitar usually. I mean, there's numerous guitars, alternate tunings. There's all kinds of stuff that people that don't know the behind the scenes of it all, they see the show, they see it happen in front of them, and everything goes flawless. There's somebody like you that's making all that happen.
Yeah,
There's somebody back behind the scenes that's tuning the guitars, making everything's plugged in, making sure the wireless system's up to par, making sure the pedals are all set up properly, making sure everything's tuned. Every single guitar has to be tuned properly.
Exactly.
Strings are stretched. Everything is ready to go for playing. I mean, people don't get that. They don't know that there's all these little intricacies that happen to make the show come off like it's nothing, like it's just flawless, like it's just effortless.
Exactly.
You make that guy shine.
Yeah.
You make that guy shine. Whoever that artist is, whether it's in the studio or live on stage or whatever, there's somebody who's behind the scenes just making it perfect for that person to just strap on and play.
What makes a great guitar tech is actually being a guitar player.
Sure.
You know what it has to sound like. You know,
Right.
I've seen guitar techs that are not even guitar players, and they don't even know what is going on sometimes.
Right.
Oh, I'm not a guitar player. I say,
Yeah.
can you play this to see if it's tuned?
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah, I'll play. You know.
Yeah,
But, you know, like when I toured with Jimmy Page, he had 3 guitars that are in different tunings. He had a regular standard 440. Then we had a drop D. Mm-hmm. Then we had a G guitar.
Open G, yeah.
And then we had a C guitar.
Yeah.
You know, we had all those guitars. You know, when he did his 12 strings, I'm not going to talk about that one.
And people don't know that even with these open Gs, and there's a setup that has to happen so that guitar can stay in tune and make sure that it's going to handle. There's a lot of ins and outs of all that, and people don't really get that.
My favorite guitar that I worked on Jimmy Page was his 12-string Dan Electro.
Okay.
The 12-string Dan Electro is what he used for Cashmere.
That black and white one, right?
Black and white one, yeah. He used that Dan Electro. And then he used a Martin D16
Okay.
for Going to California.
Sure.
Which is in drop D.
Yeah.
And then Philip Andrews. I don't know if he's still around, but this guy was an amazing mandolin player. Amazing. Okay. He was so good.
Okay.
I mean,
I always thought John Paul Jones would have picked up the mandolin for that.
Yeah, John Paul Jones played the mandolin.
Okay.
For Going to California.
Okay.
And what's the other song that
Gallows Pole or something, or no?
No, it wasn't Gallows Pole. It was the Battle of Evermore.
Oh yeah.
The Battle of Evermore and
Right.
Going to California.
Yeah.
Was John Paul Jones wrote on those. But you know, John Paul Jones wrote most of this music for Led Zeppelin.
Yeah.
Which people don't are aware of.
He was a major contributor.
Every single set that I saw, the song set list that I saw on stage with Jimmy Page and Robert Plant, it always included music by John Paul Jones, Robert Plant, and Jimmy Page. Mm-hmm. Those were the guys who wrote it.
Totally.
So they had to disclose it.
Yeah.
Because it was in case somebody took the set list of the night. Sure. They know it's publicized on there. You know, so it's kind of cool. It was interesting. A very interesting thing. I mean, it had up and downs. I mean, but you know, you adapt.
Yeah.
You know, you adapt. We had 3 big rigs following us.
Yep.
We had two tour buses, one for crew and one for artists.
Right.
And it was interesting. You know,
it's top tier. That's major production stuff right there.
Yeah. So it was kind of, we had a lighting lighting truck,
stage, lighting truss, all that stuff that had to get set up. So it was I work for Morningstar Productions, and that's a lot what we do. We do staging, lighting, backline, and stuff like that. And I know that's hard work. I mean, not to say we're like a tech, but creating that, people don't get that somebody had to come in and put the decking in, put that truss and lift that truss and build the stage and build the lighting and run all the conduit, all the, everything. There's a lot to it, man. There really is. I learned a lot just working with that company to be able to see a lot of the behind the scenes, which is, it's fun for me now. I just went to saw Alice in Chains in Riverside.
Oh, nice.
At the Municipal Auditorium.
Oh, really?
And now that I have this background with the production, like I used to, there'd be the opening act and the main act and all that stuff. And I used to just be like, drinking beers or whatever, and hanging out, and like we're waiting to, when's the band gonna play? Now I know the breakdown. I know I'm watching. I'm like, okay, so another 5 minutes of bands. We
have an ETA.
I know like what's happening. I can watch and see what's going on, and I know what's happening. I know that they're breaking this down. They're setting that up. Okay, now they got that. Okay, so probably another 5 minutes, and the band's coming out. Whereas before, it was like I was oblivious. I'm just like every other numbskull in the crowd that's just like, when's Alice in Chains coming? Jeez, it's been forever, And it's like, now I'm like watching, I'm telling my buddy all the stuff, dude. Okay, he's breaking that. Okay, look, that dude right there, the guitar tech, he's tuning his guitar up. We're getting close. I'm seeing this. Okay, he's got that. It does, band's going to play in 5 minutes, bro. And then sure enough, band comes out in 5 minutes. I'm like, he's like, dude, you really know your stuff. I'm like, well, just, behind the scenes, you get to learn that stuff. And
so we say next time you complain about a concert ticket price,
right?
We got to get paid.
Everybody's got to get paid. There's hundreds of people involved with those arena gigs and stuff, man.
Exactly.
So
you're talking about Sacramento. I was with Timothy B. Schmidt of the Eagles.
Okay, yeah.
He was telling me his
bass player, right?
Yeah, bass player.
Right.
Timothy was telling me his days when he lived in Sacramento.
Sure.
And then how he came to California, and he was in Poco.
Okay.
And then from Poco, he went into the Eagles.
Yep.
And since the Eagles, he's had a really good career and a solo career.
Right.
So I was following him because my good friend Hank Linderman is his guitar player.
Okay.
So that's how I got to know Timothy B. Schmidt.
Sure.
And also John McPhee of the Doobie Brothers.
Sure, yeah.
So these guys know that I'm a guitar tech and I'm a guitarist. And so they go through Hank to get to me. So, hey, James, I'm looking for this, I'm looking for that. So they'll call me for consultations.
Okay.
So what I'll do consultations like what you need to get, how you need to approach it.
Yeah.
So he's okay, cool, So then Hank called me one day. He wanted me to be on a guitar tech for the Eagles.
Wow.
So I said, yeah, I'm interested. He goes, let me see the facts because I'm sure one guy's going to be out. It turned out the guy was never out. He was just having difficulties with some personal stuff.
Okay.
But he cleared it up. So I'm still available to go with the Eagles.
Right.
At any moment.
Kind of like an on-call situation.
If Hank calls me, I would definitely do it.
Yeah.
Because they're a great band. They're the number one selling band that has sold more albums than any artist in the world. Yeah. They topped Thriller, Michael Jackson's Thriller.
Right.
They topped any other sales of albums. Their songs, every single song they have is a hit.
Yeah.
So they're great. So if I can get that opportunity,
sure,
and that
you jump at it.
History, you take it.
Who wouldn't?
Yeah. So I'm waiting for that phone call to ring. Hey, James, want to be a tech for the Eagles? Oh, I'll take it. That'd be nice. It'd be nice.
Yeah.
I worked with one of the best guitarists. Jimmy Page. Actually, I worked with several good guitarists of the world.
Yeah.
I think the most notable was probably Kevin Eubanks.
Yeah.
Kevin's was in everybody's living room around the world.
Right. What's his, I'm sorry, I'm spacing on his brother.
He has two brothers that are musicians, Robin Eubanks.
Yes.
Who plays with Dave Holland.
Okay.
And then you have Dwayne Eubanks, who does his quintet, jazz quintet.
I knew he had another brother that was pretty up there as far as stuff goes. But
there are four.
Yeah,
Dwayne and Shane are twins.
Right.
Shane used to be a trumpeter.
Right.
He's not doing music at this moment.
But Kevin Eubanks is a personality. I mean, like he didn't just do the music. Jay Leno would cut to him and talk. They chum it up on stage, and he had a personality as well with the music. You know what I mean?
Yeah. The thing about Kevin,
they had a little back and forth.
Kevin used to do skits. With Jay Leno
at the
beginning.
Yeah.
He used to do skits.
Yeah.
And then I guess NBC caught on that he was getting too popular.
Okay.
So they said, okay, let's cut back on this.
Yeah.
So that's what Kevin told me. He goes, I think I was getting too popular for the show.
But
so
he had a sense of humor too. I mean, they had a little back and forth.
His laughter,
yeah, right.
You can identify his laughter from miles. We'll sit in a restaurant, and people are laughing, and go,
now,
I thought I heard Mr. Kevin Eubanks over here. That's kind of cool.
Yeah.
So
we know your voice. We know.
Yeah,
who you are.
I was on tour with Kevin. We were in where were we? We were in Cape May, New Jersey.
Okay.
We were out in Cape May, New Jersey doing a jazz festival there one year. under the Bank of America sponsorship of jazz festivals, and we flew in from L.A. red eye to Philadelphia.
Okay.
So we flew in from Philadelphia, and we went on. Our drivers picked us up. We went all the way South Jersey. I mean, to the tip of Cape May, man. All right, so we're there, So we're supposed to be playing at the convention center that was on a pier.
Okay.
In Cape May, but since the pier was rotted, they tore down the whole convention center. No one told us.
Oh no.
Yeah, so we had to do the show at a Catholic high school gymnasium. So they put a new stage in there with plastic chairs.
Sure.
And Kim was like, man, I wish they would have told me this. I don't want to play in a gymnasium. Like,
yeah.
I go, Kevin, it'll be okay. It'll be great. Okay.
We'll make it happen.
So he wasn't too happy about it, but he got happier about it. And he goes, yeah, let's do it. So we got up there and they did the show. I set them all up, got there, done it. It was cool, great turnout.
Okay.
The place was packed.
Right.
So then the next day, it was Pancho Sanchez.
Okay.
Right? So Kevin went back to Philly because he's got a home in Philly. That's
right.
where he's originally from.
But you had hookups through that. You knew those guys. So,
yeah. So the thing is, I knew Kevin, and I met Pancho Sanchez. In New Jersey.
Okay.
With all his crew, all the musicians.
Yeah.
And all I go, oh yeah, James Greer, you were Kevin Eubanks. So I go, yeah. He goes, oh cool, man, come here. So I worked with those guys the next night because I had nothing to do.
You're right.
Because I was stuck in Cape May. till Monday.
Right.
So then, to Sunday. I was stuck to Sunday because I had to go back to. I went back to Philadelphia on Sunday night for Monday. So, yeah, I remember that. So I was there all day Saturday, and then Sunday afternoon we went back to Philadelphia. So, anyways, what happened was these guys were all working on these guys, and Finn Pancho comes up to me. He goes, so James, tell me something. I go, what's up, Pancho? He goes, where do you live? I go, I live in Los Angeles. At the time I was living in Culver City.
Okay.
He goes, get out of here. I'm from Whittier. I live in Whittier. I go, I grew up in Norwalk and I live in Whittier.
Right.
I said, no way. He goes, yeah, when we get back to LA, let's hang out.
Yeah.
So then his buddy, his sound guy, Larry Sanchez, contacts me. He goes, hey, James, it's Larry. I go, hey, what's up, Larry? He goes, hey, check this out. Poncho and I are doing a show over here in Fullerton. I go, what's it called? It's Steamers in Fullerton. I go, all right, man, I'll check it out. So I go down there and hang out with Poncho and all the guys.
Yeah.
He goes, oh, look, we're all local neighbors now.
Yeah.
So we're all hanging out. So Poncho's a good friend.
Yeah, we're all buddies. Yeah.
Yeah,
we're neighbors.
Yeah,
we're neighbors.
Yeah, we're all friends.
Right.
But Poncho has a lot of history behind him.
Sure.
He played with Tito Puente. He played with all those Latin jazz cats.
Right.
All those big names like Celsia Cruz. And he was also in Tower of Power.
Okay.
So he played.
He made his rounds.
Yeah. So his bass player is the same bass player for Kevin Eubanks.
Sure.
Which is Rene Camacho.
Okay.
Rene now plays in War.
Okay.
The War
the
from,
outfit,
from San Pedro.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Low Rider and
totally.
Frisco Boy.
Yeah, they got the outfits, man.
Yeah. So he's playing with them, but Rene also plays as a contractor. He plays for everybody.
Okay.
So he's
hired gun.
He's a hired gun.
Yeah.
Just like the Rudy Sarzo on hired gun.
Yeah.
It's the same thing.
Yeah.
And that's what we are. I'm a hired gun. But
everybody's
on the back
contracted.
scene.
Yeah.
So that's what we do. So when we got back to LA. I hooked up with Poncho, and every once in a while, Poncho has a show. Larry would call me up, hey, we're doing a show, And then I also worked with Jimmy Imperial, who played for Herb Alpert. Herb Alpert, the old jazz player from the 70s.
Okay,
and the
I'm
80s.
not familiar. I gotta dip into that.
For Herb Alpert, and I just unfortunately Jimmy just passed away. A couple months ago, tragically. Choking on food.
Oh.
Yeah, talking
Jesus.
about a way to go, man.
Right,
Choked on food, and he passed away. Really good friend of mine, and then him and I, we always go to NAMM show together.
Sure.
And we do a lot of
promotion
for vendors.
Yeah, right.
And stuff like that. So, I like to go and scroll the NAMM show once in a while.
Yeah.
But, this past year, they changed it a lot.
They have.
They changed the flooring. So I'm like, half the stuff that my vendors were. I didn't know where they were, so
Yeah, right.
I missed out on them.
Okay.
So I have to do my
Trying to track
homework on
them down,
NAMM. I have to do my homework for NAMM.
Right.
You know,
Yeah.
see where they're going to be at. But yeah, Jimmy Imperial was a really good, great guitar player. He played on Soul Train.
Okay.
He played on American Bandstand.
Sure.
He played with Herb Alpert.
Those are music staples right
Those
there.
are
for
staples.
Sure. Yeah.
Those are staples.
Yeah,
you know?
right.
To this day, American Bandstand is still licensed by the Dick Clark Productions.
Is it really? Okay.
Yeah, still licensed by Dick Clark.
Interesting.
You know, Dick Clark was the man back
Oh,
in
yeah.
the 70s and
For
the 80s.
sure.
He put a lot of music talent out.
Yeah.
Lots of it. You know?
Right.
He was a big music lover.
Yeah, he was a supporter.
If Dick Clark was still around, the music industry would be a whole different world.
Oh, I guarantee that. Yeah.
You know, a whole different world.
Yeah,
you know?
definitely.
Dick Clark was he was a businessman,
Right.
music producer,
Yeah.
television producer.
Yeah.
He
He has his hand in different pots. Yeah,
he
for
had
sure.
it. He had it. You know, he was the man. He was
I want to go back really quick to Kevin Eubanks. That guitar, that brown guitar, was it a brown guitar that he had that was like very custom?
Yes.
From what I remember from that Jay Leno show.
Yeah. Unfortunately, that guitar is no longer with us.
Okay.
That guitar, the one from the Tonight Show, is on display right now at the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame in Cleveland, Ohio.
Okay, well, good. That's cool.
That's one of my works.
It's got a home.
That's one of the works that
But that thing was sick. I mean, that was a signature thing that he had like every night.
That guitar was every night on the Tonight Show for 18 years. That was the signature
Killer
guitar.
tone, killer thing that he had going with that.
Everybody wonders, what brand of guitar is that?
I always wondered that. That's what I was getting to.
Is that what you're getting to?
Yes.
Okay, I can tell you, but then I have to cancel the show.
Oh.
Just kidding. No, I'll tell you.
Talking about some feet and some cement.
Actually, it's a
bottom of Lake Tahoe kind of thing, mobster stuff.
Actually, it's a historic guitar. It was on the Tonight Show. It's actually based off a Stratocaster.
Okay.
3 single coil pickups.
Sure.
It has a Bigsby tremolo on it.
Yep.
And it's made by a gentleman of the name Abe Rivera.
Okay.
So it's an Abe Rivera handmade custom guitar to the specs of Kevin Eubanks.
Okay.
Especially me. So that guitar right now stands in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame in Cleveland, Ohio.
Awesome.
On lease.
Okay.
And that's where you can go view it.
It's got a home now.
And
yeah.
It has my fingerprints all over it because I'm the one who worked on the guitar. I worked on the guitar.
Yeah, much love given to that thing.
I love that guitar. The guitar is really nice.
Yeah.
And so it's on lease right now to the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. So it's there. And also the brown one that you're talking about, the brown guitar, which was called Brownie, that one was stolen off an airplane.
Really?
Yeah. So,
oh, man.
So now the new guitars that we made for Kevin, we call it anti-theft.
Yeah.
Yeah. So as soon as the patents are done and released, I'll probably come back to the show.
Yeah.
And I'll bring that guitar. I'll borrow it from Kevin, bring it in.
Yeah.
And do a podcast on it, or even bring Kevin here.
That would be awesome.
And do a podcast with you guys.
That would be great.
And stuff, so we could do that, you know, and stuff, so we can get that guitar.
I would love it.
So, yeah. So that's what the guitar is. It's an Abe Rivera.
That's cool.
It's based off a Strat, three single coils, and it's a really good sounding guitar.
It is really good. Yeah.
Very warm.
Warm. Yeah.
And it also has a lot of fat to it.
Yeah, it does. Yeah, I was gonna say it's not high endy tingy kind of sound. It's got definitely a. No, I don't want to say dark, but definitely warm. I mean, it's just got that tone to it. It's very signature sounding, too. I mean, it's got its thing, you know?
That's one of the things that made Kevin an icon was his guitar.
Yeah.
And his style of playing. You know,
signature sound.
The way Kevin plays, he doesn't use a pick.
Right.
He's straightforward.
I've seen that. Yeah.
And he just controls the tone.
Yeah.
Great control of the guitar.
Right.
You know, he just controls it very nicely. You know,
that's so killer.
Yeah. Even when I'm just sitting with Kevin and he's sitting on the couch or chilling with us and we're just sitting there with guitars in our hands and it's just every time I see Kevin play, no matter how many times I see him play, it's a phenomenal.
Yeah.
I mean, it's very phenomenal how he plays.
Well, there's certain players. There's like a Jeff Beck type of player where people say, "Where'd you get your tone?" Half the tone, is part of the guitar. The other half of the tone
is for fingers.
The fingers.
Yeah,
the way that they play it is the tone.
Yeah.
And people don't understand that. People want to emulate. They think they could buy the right pedal with the right amp and the right head and emulate that tone. You're only halfway there at that point.
Yeah, I learned
the
from
other
them.
part of the tone is the player.
Yeah.
The player is the tone. There's the Billy Gibbons and these other. That tone doesn't come all the way from their gear.
It doesn't.
It really comes from the finger, the vibrato, the sound, the tone is that. It's the thing, their thing, that thing. You know, you can't not easily duplicated. You know, I mean that's a lifelong journey to get to that. I mean, that's not something that you just learn overnight or can step into with a few effects.
And
you
people
know?
think he uses regular strings, but Kevin's using flat wounds.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, he's using the chrome steels.
I don't really like them.
Yeah.
I mean, everybody has their thing, you know, but that's part of the tone,
but
probably.
That's part of jazz,
totally.
too.
Yeah, you're right.
You know, it's
you're
part
right.
of jazz.
Yeah.
If you use the chrome steels, you use the flat, you know, so you don't get the squeaks.
Yeah.
And also, when you use a volume pedal on those, you can get the cello sound.
Okay, yeah. True.
You know,
I can see that.
You know, I learned a lot from Kevin, actually.
Okay.
Kevin taught me a lot in guitar playing as well.
Right.
You know, for 10 years with Kevin, you know, we sit down and jam.
Oh,
you
yeah.
know, how many people are...
You're going to take things from that.
Yeah, how many people have that title to sit down and jam with Kevin Eubanks?
Not a lot of people, bro.
No, not a lot of people. So
handful.
I get down and I sit down with Kevin. We play guitar.
That's killer.
And Kevin, we're good friends. You know, we trust each other. We believe in each other.
Right.
And we could do anything. We can talk about anything with anyone. You know, and just have a good time together.
Yeah.
You know, he's like...
Not only can you talk, but just sitting together in a room when two musicians play, that's a language all on its own.
Yeah, we crack
and
jokes.
that's something that you get to have a conversation with him with no words, with music, with notes.
Yeah.
Where that's a whole nother realm of a connection with another musician that, once again, Joe Schmo on the daily street can't understand that. That's a musician thing. That's
right.
something that is in the brain, subconscious. It's a connection that is people won't ever understand. That's a language all on its own.
Yeah.
To be able to head nod into parts and feed off of each other and play those things, that give and take and that back and forth is something that only artists, the left brainers and the right brainers, there's two different sides of that whole thing. And for you to be able to sit down with someone that's that great and be able to bounce that off of each other.
A legend.
Wow. You know what I mean?
You know,
so that's a language all on its own, bro.
Yeah,
that's a privilege and an honor.
To sit down on a legend and play guitar with a legend is undescribable.
How awesome for you.
Yeah, no, thanks.
That's great,
you know,
dude.
It's a pleasure to play with Kevin, you know. We sit down and just jam, you know, and have a good time with him and stuff and talk guitars.
Yeah.
And most of the time we don't even talk about music. We talk about life in general.
Yeah.
You know, we go out.
Music might be the last thing you guys talk about.
Yeah. You know, like
buddies.
Yeah, we talk about everything.
Yeah,
you know?
for sure.
It's just we just open up. You know, and I'm good friends with his whole family. You know, so I know his mom. I know his brothers. You know,
awesome.
we all get along really well.
Right.
You know, so it's like really cool. You know, his brothers live in New York and he lives here in L.A. And between Philadelphia and Los Angeles, he's here. You know, and then his brother Shane lives in Philly as well. So it's kind of cool to have that unity with that family. You know?
So what's going on with you as of late? Like what kind of projects or things have you been working on as of
now? I'm putting together a couple productions for television.
Okay.
And I can't talk about it right now because it's still in production.
Sure.
But I'm looking forward to doing a couple of shows.
Sure.
One's going to be a humanity show.
Okay.
And another one's going to be a music show.
Okay.
And another one's going to be a horror movie.
Okay.
You know, so
are you doing scoring or any of that thing?
I'm doing.
Have you done
I'm
that?
actually the executive producer.
Awesome.
For these shows.
Great.
I own Grover 6 Productions.
Sure.
And I'm doing television, film, and music with
That's
those.
awesome, dude.
So I'm putting all those together right now, and then what I want to do is I'm kind of working on this. You know, me and my buddy Lou Pizarro from Operation Repo.
Okay.
You probably know him.
Yeah.
Lou Pizarro and I have teamed up to do productions. So I'm going to start working with him this coming week to open up more doors about what we can do.
Get a game plan going.
And get a game plan going. You know, I was going to do a show with him with Chewy Bravo from Chelsea Handler.
Uh-huh.
And it's been on the slow burner, on the back burner for now because we have so much
Hollywood,
going.
man.
Yeah, we have so much
You're
going on.
always working on things.
We have so much going on. But one of my productions is probably going to be the music production where they follow guitar tech.
Okay. And that's a great idea, and people need to see that.
Yeah,
so
to see behind the scenes of the music on stage.
Sure.
You know, because we got hit the lighting guys, sound guys.
Sure.
The the stage hands,
yeah, all that stuff,
and
man.
the guitar techs,
All the back behind the scenes people. So a lot of people that make something
we need about
happen.
20 cameras to film on that.
Right, that is a lot. You're right. Yeah, to capture it all correctly.
Yeah, 20 cameras.
Yes.
Just go
right. Yeah.
You know?
And then editing all that so that it's like, you know, something that's with this ADD day and age where, you know, I mean, you gotta be able to make sure it's not so boring, you know, where you can still keep people's attention on all
But music
that.
is my passion. Music will always be my passion.
Sure.
You know, it's my therapy.
Yeah.
It keeps me young. It keeps me going.
Yeah.
You know, it's just something that I thrive for.
Totally.
You know, sometimes when I'm at home alone and I pick up my guitar, it just relaxes the hell out of me.
Oh yeah.
I just chill there, man, and I can just play. I lose time.
You can throw your worries away.
By the time I'm done playing, I'm like at the clock. 3 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah, my blood pressure and my heart rate just came down. You know, everything just mellowed out.
You know, and then for those guys who are learning the guitar, let's talk about how to learn about guitar.
Sure.
You know, when I was a kid, what made me a better guitar player was I put the notes all the way to the 5th position on my ceiling in my bedroom.
Okay. So you were studying that stuff.
Yeah, so I was looking up. Right. Here's A, here's D, you know, so I was
doing homework in the late hours of the night.
I was doing the math of the guitar, of the frets. You know, I was doing the math of the frets. I'm like, okay, I see it.
Yeah.
And that made me learn my notes. And then that helped me with my circle of fifths.
Sure.
So when I went to music school and I learned a circle of fifths, so now I can
wait a minute. There's a connection.
Yeah. I mean, the only instrument that's black and white is a piano. Come on now.
Right.
You know.
Well, we touched a little bit on the day and age of like the industry and stuff earlier, and I've touched a little bit on this with some other guests. What would be a piece of advice that you could give? I'd like to kind of ask this question to some people. For the young, inspiring 15, 16, 18, 20-year-old musician that doesn't know, maybe they're putting a band together, maybe they're solo, maybe they have these aspirations, and it's so fickle now with all these things. The recurring theme that I hear is play. Be in a band, play, gig, play live with as many people as you can. What would be some tips for you and any kind of just, you know, little advice towards some of these aspiring musicians that may be listening to this podcast and want a little something that's going to give them that push and something that's going to make them feel like it's going to be all right and there's a light at the end of the tunnel somehow, some way down there?
Well, as a guitar player, the hardest part about playing guitar is keeping the damn thing in tune. So make sure you're tuned up.
A setup can mean the world.
Yeah. Make sure the guitar is tuned.
Sure.
To whatever you want to play. But my advice is, you know, like I tell my students now, I tell them, look, I want you to practice 20 to 45 minutes a day.
Okay.
If you can do more, go ahead. You know, so between homework and life,
yes,
you have to really put the time in.
Sure.
You know, there's nothing more than time.
Right.
You know, you have to sit down, practice where you're failing at. Like, let's say if you're having trouble gripping the guitar and keeping your fingers down on the frets, just hold the guitar and practice the voicings.
Right.
Without strumming.
Sure.
Just try to make sure those fingers land and get trained to land.
Your dexterity.
Like let's have these guys do it, or whoever's listening, we can do the A chord, the D chord, and the E chord.
Switching between them as well.
Just go A, D, E, A, D, E without strumming. And learn the pattern of how it lands.
Close your eyes and be able to do it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Feel the frets and just get it, you know. Because, you know, all guitars, it happens to me still. If the guitar's not mine, I still have to get used to that guitar.
Sure.
And I still have to find out how it feels.
Yes.
So I had to play for a good 20 minutes before I can actually perform on it.
Right.
So even if it's a backline guitar, I'll go ahead and say, hey, you know, I got to do this, I got to do that. So
I got to get used to it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So my advice to the kids is just, or anybody who's learning guitar, is do the voicings without strumming.
Sure.
And then strum it twice. Go 1 2 1 2 1 2. So go A 1 2 D 1 2 E 1 2, and get the feel to get progressive.
Sure.
So the progression of the chords is what you want to do, because no song is going to be staccato.
No, it's all different.
Yeah. So you want to keep the progression going and tempo, and always practice with a metronome.
Excellent.
A metronome is always going to help you keep timing.
Sure.
So you know where you're at, you
Right.
know? So your metronome.
For you
1,
players out
2,
there, you
3,
may hate
4.
the metronome, but learn to love it.
Yep, metronome.
Learn to love it.
A metronome keeps your timing going.
For sure.
It'll
be your best friend.
Yeah, because the metronome is not really for the voicing hand; it's for the rhythm hand.
It's for and your timing is everything.
And if you learn the syncopated strum, if those guys don't know what a syncopated strum is, the 4/4 strum.
Yes.
Which is the most common strum for anything.
Right.
From John Denver to Simon and Garfunkel to
rock to anything.
Any rock
Yeah,
guitar,
yeah, yeah.
And then if you do the 6/8 strum, the 3/4 strum is the same strum, just a little shorter and longer on the other. So you learn how to control that.
Wrap your brain around the first one first, and then
and then if you really want to learn, if you guys if people who's listening are into church, join the church choir.
Sure.
Learn.
Learning is learning, no matter where it comes from.
If you that's a free lesson there.
Sure.
They're going to train you at a church how to play and how to sing.
Yeah.
I was lucky when I did that LMU that stuff that I didn't know came live to me when I was there working with other musicians. I said, what are you doing there? And you bounce off into other musicians.
Sure.
So it's always good to play with other people.
Right.
To get together, even if it's a bass player, a drummer.
It doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter.
It makes you well-rounded for sure.
It does.
I agree with you on that.
So so the one thing that I really, really stress when playing guitar or any instrument that you're playing is stay focused. Mm-hmm. Stay focused and look at books.
Right.
Books have a lot of information in them. Read the books. I also like YouTube. Has a
this
lot
day
of,
and age,
YouTube has a lot of
instructional stuff
as well.
Yeah.
It may not be perfect, but they're trying to do it. But you learn from that,
You'll learn.
And watch go to live shows, watch other guitars, how they play.
Totally.
It's actually more about control.
Yeah.
And
that comes with time.
It comes with time.
Time will, give you those skills. But
well, I got 41 years of guitar playing behind my belt.
And we're still learning.
And I'm still learning. And I'm still writing. And I'm still recording.
So I have a question for you. This is something I as well kind of ask a lot of guests. What I like to propose is that with a lot of bands or solo artists or whoever, there is with the music industry or just the image of a band, the polished version of all that, and everybody likes to have this thing with everything's all good and we've got and we got this polished image, everything is like riding great. And for me, I like the yin and yang of things. I know that in life or as in a band or as in the road and journey of an artist, there's always the bad with the good. And the bad, really, no one really ever wants to talk about the good and the polished version. I like to sink a little bit into a couple stories or whatever of the bad, because you know what? The bad leads to the good, and you can't cherish and really love and embrace the good without the bad. And so everybody's got some stories of the thing of falling off stage, or my thing broke, or this thing, or this one time at this one gig kind of story. Everybody's got them, And so to break away from how great things are going and how great, I always like to sink a little bit into like the deep chunk of everything here. And so if there's any kind of enlightenment you could share, just a story or two, This is the part with bands I always say, don't worry about throwing your buddy under the bus right now, but let's get into some nitty gritty here.
But the things I say, somebody might throw me under the bus.
Well, change the name. We don't need to know really who it is.
Well, like I said earlier, mostly the egotistical attitudes.
There's a lot of narcissism out there. Yeah,
the guys who think they're A1 and they know,
you're gonna run into that.
You're gonna run into it, and just stay calm.
Sure.
I'm not a fighter. I find solutions to the problems.
Right.
So it's my job as a guitar tech or a guitarist, or whatever what I'm doing at the time.
Okay.
I rather just take over the situation and solve it. But there's been times where I work with certain artists and amps blow out, guitars are not tuned right. their pedal boards are not working right.
There's a lot of problem solving that has to happen.
There's a lot of problems, but if you get involved with the negativity of the attitudes, your job's going to fail.
Oh yeah, for sure.
So what do you do?
Yeah, you save face by putting on a face like it's all good, and you take it as it comes.
I just tell them, calm down.
Yeah,
we got this.
We're gonna get it.
Yeah. I was doing a show with missing persons, and it wasn't going right, but we stay calm. You know.
Sure. That sets a tone for everybody, really.
Yeah, I was working with Prescott Niles, and Prescott Niles, he could get really irritable at times, but he's a really cool guy. You know, he's one of my best friends. And I had a show over in I don't know, one of the venues we were doing, and his pedal boards weren't lined up. He forgot certain things. I said, "Calm down. We'll get this to work." So I had to entertain the crowd because it wasn't so much the musicians that were going off. It was the crowd. They're getting frustrated that the show hadn't begun.
Right.
So I kind of entertained the crowd. I said, "Hey, we're almost there. We're almost there. Come on, guys. Give us a hand here. Clap us." You know? So it worked. It worked.
Rally up the troops into a good frenzy as opposed to a bad.
It was a weird night. We're always going to have a weird night.
Sure.
So that was a weird night.
And it could go either way. I mean, there's such a fine line.
It could go either way. It's a fine line.
Yeah.
It was just like a I don't know. Everything that could go wrong that night went wrong.
Yeah.
You know, but you learn to adapt to this stuff.
Sure.
And with the years, you're not there as a novice.
Right.
You're there as a professional.
Sure.
You keep it calm, keep it going, and that's one thing about people who know me. They know how professional I am when it comes to this.
Sure.
I set foot forward.
Right.
And I take charge.
Yes. You're a doer.
I'm a doer, and I don't take BS for an answer.
Correct.
You know, I'll get it done.
Right.
And it'll be done.
Well, that's what it takes to get the job done sometimes.
That's what it has to get
there's doers and there's sayers, you know, and
Yeah, and then when the only thing that ticks me off is when people try to take advantage of me, which I don't let it happen.
Right.
You know, I say,
sure, you learned some lessons.
Oh yeah, you learn from the get-go.
Right.
You learn from the get-go.
Yeah, yeah. You can spot it a mile away, I'm sure, at this point.
And then all the stuff, all the credits I have behind my belt, it helps.
Right.
You know, so anybody who's interested in becoming a guitar tech or doing what I do in the field of music, if you try to be a guitarist and it's not working for you, you go into another aspect. You know, I play guitar. You know, I'm a professional guitarist as well, and I'm also a guitar tech. So I don't put all my apples in one basket.
Yeah.
So I'm when it comes to music
You're
industry,
always shifting. You're rolling with the tide.
You have to.
Yeah.
No, I know some of the big names guys. They have day jobs.
Totally.
Because you cannot make it in music these days. You know, they have day jobs.
Not everybody is getting that check. So,
Not everybody's getting
you
that
got to pay bills no matter how it gets to happen. I mean, yeah, for sure.
Yeah. So if anybody listening that wants to contact me on either lessons or learning how to become a guitar tech, you can email me. And my email is jmggrover6@gmail.com.
Awesome.
And just send me an email, and I can go ahead and get you guys into the information programs for around and stuff.
Well, I know we hit and missed a little bit with setting it up, and when you came into the shop, man, I mean, I the energy and the connection that I felt with you, it was just there, and I was excited to hear some stories from you, and I knew that you had a story to tell. I knew you, if not more, more than one, you know.
I gotta hold back some, man.
Yeah, I know. Right.
All the beans.
Yeah. So I mean, like, you know, but I was excited to get you in, and
cool, thanks.
The beginning of this ride for me with the podcast has just really begun, and I would love to have some reoccurring guests, which I'm hopeful that me and you can work some stuff. I know you're a busy man and you got a lot on your plate, but we'll work it out.
Just tell me who you want, and I'll bring them in.
Yeah, I mean, I have a couple guests that have been interested, and some have been one-offs, and some have been like, man, I can't wait to be back. And so, you know, the next evolution for me is we're going to be doing video and stuff, so that's going to be the next realm of this, and hopefully, but maybe by the next time we'll be able to get into that aspect of everything. But everything has its starting place, and it's you know, we're rolling here, and I'm honored that you wanted to come in and just, you know, talk and shoot the breeze with me and be able to, you know, just be at home.
Well, next
and,
time we have a live a studio audience here.
Sure.
You know?
Yeah, and that's another aspect of it is setting up with some venues and stuff to do it in front of a live audience. So I mean,
that's cool.
I'll be working on different aspects and kind of mixing it up a little bit. But I was just excited to be able to sit down and talk to you and hear some of your stories.
Thank you. Appreciate it. I'm glad to be here.
any love that we can spread around is all good. And we always want to promote people and their stories. And you're a musician, you're a tech, you're not just molded into one thing. You've obviously through our story today, you've rolled the roller coaster of all of it.
I build instruments, I do everything.
Yeah.
So if you guys want to become a guitar tech, it's always best to build an instrument first,
for sure,
and know how the instrument works. And
there's a lot of ins and outs of all that.
So you can always pinpoint the problem of the instrument.
So we'll be promoting our stuff on the Instagram and on our Facebook and on my website. And when we get closer to the air date, we'll be promoting all of your ongoings and all that stuff. But, James, I just wanted to thank you for being here, bro.
Andy,
this has been a great conversation. And
great to be here.
We'll hopefully be in touch to get you back at some point in the future and touch back up on what your endeavors may be at that point, and get you dialed in with the podcast here.
Please do. Yeah, I'll be more than happy to come back here and talk more and see what happens this coming the end of this year.
Yeah,
and then I can talk about that.
That would be great.
And talk about my productions that we got
Definitely.
going. So
yeah,
it'd be cool and bring some people in that I can have a whole room
crew,
full
a
of,
posse.
Have a whole room of musicians.
I would love that.
And people in film and what we do, how we work.
That would be great.
And get it on the podcast. So
I'm excited about that.
I'll be more than happy to help you with that.
For sure.
Yeah.
All right, so we have Mr. James Grover here. We will be promoting his production and all his stuff, as I said, and we are just so thankful for our listeners to be able to hear this episode with Mr. James, and thanks for tuning in. This is Pie from the Krooked Hearts podcast, and Mr. James Grover. Nice conversation we had today. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you. Thanks for having me. Thanks.
All right, James.
Thank you.
Awesome.
Bye-bye.
All right, y'all. Wonderful conversation sitting down with James, man. I just really love getting into all that juiciness with all that. From all his television work starting out, going into movies, working with Jack Black. I mean, who doesn't love that story? I mean, that's just such great stuff right there. Working on the music for that, composing that with him. Robert Sarzo, brother of Rudy, and some of these guys are some really great names. Kevin Eubanks, Page and Plant, getting into that juiciness. That was great. This guy really had a lot of great stories, and I'm sure he has a lot more. So I'm sure we'll be checking back in with him, getting him back on the show as a reoccurring guest, perhaps, if he's interested. Which, come on, man, we got to get this guy back. I mean, he's got too many stories to tell. So it was really great. As he said, he's got the Diane the Deductibles project going with that, working with those guys. He did mention he's got some classes that he's going to be teaching coming up that he's really excited about. I believe that's coming up January sometime, and we'll be promoting the ins and outs and more details with that on our Facebook and on our Instagram page as that kind of gets hammered out, and we'll have the exact deets on all that stuff. So pay attention, keep your eyes open, keep them peeled for the info on that. James is a great instructor, a great teacher, much to learn from this gentleman. I mean, couldn't be a nicer guy. I mean, really great to sit down and hear his stories. I mean, I can't wait to get back together with him and listen to some more stories, get into some more juiciness. So really appreciative of all of our listeners out there. Really appreciative for James to take the time and come sit down with the Krooked Heart podcast, and delve into the deepness there. It was good times. So really appreciative, like I said, for everybody out there, all the support, and we'll get back to you guys with our next episode coming up here not too long. Appreciate you, everybody out there, for switching on and tuning in. This is Andy the Pie Deal from the Krooked Hearts podcast. Thank you so much, guys. We are out.